the mindset which is already preset will not change. So let's, instead of going back into the history, let's start from the 80s, where actually media became vibrant in the country itself with the advent of television and more aggressive reporting in the national newspaper and covering Pan Odisha articles started coming up only after in the 80s. 70s was more of a closed door, and 60s was still a nationalistic fever, and overheads were basically reported. State news were basically relegated to the background. So in the 80s, we are reported for virtually every negative thing. Let's take example of District Kalahandi. It made national and international media took the headlines by saying it's one of the poorest districts in the country, where people don't have food to eat and they sell the children. This is, I'm talking about 1985-86. Rajiv Gandhi ji was the Prime Minister of India. So he made a dashing visit. And the national media went gaga. I went to college to Delhi University. The people used to ask, where are you from? Odisha. ये कहाँ है? हिंदुस्तान में उड़ीसा कहाँ है? जगन्नाथपुरी नाम सुने? हाँ, जगन्नाथपुरी पुरी धाम. So basically, the national media had killed my identity also. People in this country didn't know where we were, where we had come from. I'm talking about 1989-90. Delhi University, I'm a student of political science honors from Ramjas College, DU. 1989 batch. So till 1989, Delhi University guys did not know where Odisha was. अरे वहाँ तो बहुत भुखमरी है, लोग बच्चा बेच देते हैं, सड़क नहीं है, लोगों के घर नहीं है. The same gentleman, the same district Kalahandi. Today is the second largest rice growing district in my state, and it is the 9th largest rice producing district in the country. It has got an engineering college, it has got a medical college. Virtually every village has got a school. Every tehsil or block has got a CHC or a medical center. There have been skill development centers. All villages are connected. Every village is electrified. And very recently, Honorable Chief Minister opened an industrial corridor. In the constituency of Junagadh, the name of the place is Jari. And we in the industrial department have just, in this last 1 year time, have signed MOU with various companies worth more than 600 crores in District Kalahandi. Why I say this? Because my colleague, my friend, before me just spoke about the transformative initiative of the government. Gentlemen, we came to power in 2000 after the super cyclone. We inherited empty coffers. We didn't have money to pay to our bureaucracy. We are in heavy debt. Agriculture production was at its lowest. Starvation deaths were reported in the media. And our aggregate food collection, or whatever we call it, food procurement, was only 7.5 lakh metric ton, whereas my requirement then was about 15 lakh metric ton. So we are virtually dependent on food on other states. This was the cycle when we came into power. So from the day one, Honorable Chief Minister and his team started setting the house into order. First, we went ahead and settled the financial disputes and the financial underscores. We tightened the revenue system, collection system, and prudent fiscal policies were implemented. Simultaneously, we invested a lot in agriculture to have a solid agro base. So at least the food security is met, which is the basis of any economy, especially the Indian economy, and in that context, Odisha economy, because basically largely we are agrarian. Why I say this agrarian? Because about 38% of my populations are tribal or the scheduled caste. I got a forest cover of about 29%. I got a water resources of 11% of the country. So that is my geography of my state. So agrarian economy and development comes first. पहले पेट, बाद में कपड़ा, बाद में पढ़ाई. the starvation issue was addressed. And simultaneously, we also started investing in human index, that is education and skill. And we started also pumping in money into infrastructure. So now all this put together, cutting a long story short, it took us about a decade and a half. By 2014, we had achieved all our targets. We had reduced poverty by about 12%. We had overcome a fiscal deficit. We had started getting money from our own resources, forget the central grants. And my infrastructure was showing. Education was coming in. The younger generation was getting educated. And I achieved food security by 2012. So now the stage was basically set for the next big leap. Is when you educate your young, you also have to feed them and to assure them a future. The future can be only be bought in, and an assured future can only be bought in through industrialization. Maybe it in the service sector, maybe it in the manufacturing sector, maybe it in any other sector, but you have to diversify from your agrarian economy. And that is exactly what my government and my Honorable Chief Minister did. With the promulgation of 5T principle, time, technology, teamwork, transparency leading to transformation, what my colleague was saying, this was the basic mantra to drive this entire ethos. So somewhere till 2014, we dropped the idea of taking people along. We started inculcating a new idea that the next step should be inclusive and it should be for the youth and the future of the state. That means for those students who are just passing out from class 10th, keeping them in view, keeping the young, vibrant Odia youths in view, we started embarking on industrialization from 2015 onwards. So we first came out with our IPR, Industrial Policy Resolution, in 2015. And it's a biennial affair. And every 2 years, we have this Make in Odisha program in Bhubaneswar. And for that, we go scouting around the country and as well as abroad to attract investment. And by the blessing of Lord Jagannath, every 2 years, Odisha is gaining momentum as an investment destination, I can assure you of that. And 16, we had the first MIO, then 18. Then for the COVID, we didn't do it. Again, we came back in 2022. 2022, we got the largest investment intent. That's about 10.2 lakh crores. And what the remarkable achievement is, which even the government of India has taken note of, is it's not about how much intent is given by the business community or the business houses to the state. It's how much actually turns into reality or it is grounded in the ground. The national average of grounding intent is about 22% max. But we here in Odisha, as a minister industry with authority, I can say, in the last 3 MIOs put together, we have got an impressive record of 42% of grounding, which is much above the national average. What actually matters is how much you ground. It's not how much is promised to you. Promise being delivered on the ground is a different story altogether. Because there are so many issues. It took me hardly 2 seconds to say that. But the general psychosis, the government machinery, सरकार के पास कौन जाएगा, सरकार बाहु किए जीवो, 50 bureaucrat पाखु दौड़ीबो. You run here from pillar to post, then you lose interest. That is why my department, my government has scored a big, huge point and it's taken the nation's attention also, including the Prime Minister. My GoSwift portal and ease of doing business, Odisha has been awarded as one of the best upcoming states. 24 departments are in this GoSwift portal, and if you apply, within 1.5 months, your entire thing is processed and you are called for your final discussion before you ground it. Similarly, land banks we have created, and we have, as much as possible, we have tried to make the intent to be grounded as smooth as possible. That has been the story so far. Now, alone this much, just my policy, my government, my leadership is one part. The most important part is also the situation in the country and to a larger extent, the geopolitical situation of the entire world. All of us know China has been a great manufacturing hub. In fact, it overtook the West till it started arm twisting everybody. So very late in the day, the Western economies in the Western countries realized that they put their money in the wrong place. They put their money in a dictatorship, not in a democracy. So till it was cheap and it was well managed, till then it was okay. But when the Chinese got the better of everybody and they started to turn the economy into a political agenda, the West woke up. And now the West doesn't want to invest there. So where else? With a vibrant young population in our country, technically skilled, manpower available today, India becomes the automatic destination. And we being a democracy are also an attractive proposition because when a person puts in its money, it's not going to go away. There's some kind of a liability, there's some kind of a responsibility, and there's some kind of authority. And the authority lies in the continuation, and that's what the democratic setup is all about. So India becomes a natural choice. That is why you see the bonhomie between the EU and the US and everybody, and we are talking about AI, we are talking about manufacturing of microchips. So all these things were, till 10 years back, was not thought of. Now doors are opening up and I can bet we in India are ready. I can assure you that. Now from here, when we come down to Odisha, gentlemen, I can assure you, we are the best destination today in the world. In fact, in India, I'll say. Why? Because you look at the other industrial setup in the country. Let's start with Mumbai, overcrowded, nowhere to expand. Ahmedabad is coming to a virtual standstill by another 10 years. It won't have much to expand because it will be a logistical and civic nightmare. Bangalore is already a nightmare. Last year you saw how all the CEOs of the major IT companies huddled up in a tractor because of sewage problem. Pune is the same, so is Hyderabad, so is Chennai. So where do you have land available for development? It's Odisha. Where do you have power? I am also the energy minister. Gentlemen, we are surplus in power, and I've quoted that in the media so many times. It's the system of delivery we are working on. It's not the power we are already surplus power. My IPP and CPP put together, we are generating something about 17,000 to 18,000 megawatt of power. And one data I will give you which will surprise you. Mr. Arun Singh, CEO of TPG, is here. When he will deliberate, he will kindly give the data. The people must know. But half of them are in the dark and they don't want to hear reality. They should be told the reality. You'll be surprised, gentlemen. This month of April and May, Odisha has consumed more power than the state of Gujarat. Gujarat is twice my size. But in power consumption, Odisha has consumed more power than Gujarat. It's not my data, it's Government of India data. And to top it all, we have consumed more electricity in these 2 months than Delhi state. So who is consuming this? If electricity consumption is taken as an indicator,
Heart rate 150 in zone 2.
Don't stop the pump! Keep it up! Pump, 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 pump! Pump.
I've got power. Now, third component which is necessary for industrialization is skill, talented manpower to run the show. You'll be, gentlemen, be surprised. Hyderabad and Bangalore put together, there are more than 9 lakh IT students who belong to my state. 9 lakh IT students who are already in the job. Put together ITIs, engineering colleges, I've got more than 997 institutions over a period of 20 years we have built up. And we have got about 8 medical colleges functioning already. Talent pool is increasing every day. In fact, we have started branding ourselves as skilled in Odisha. From skill in India, we have further gone one step up, skilled in Odisha. And I'm proud to say, in the Skill World Olympiad, I think 9 Indians got a prize, of which 5 are from Odisha. So that is the kind of strides the youth of the state are making today. And as the government, it's my duty, it's our duty to give that young talent pool a scope to rise. So I've got talent, I've got an educated work pool, I've got a stable power situation, and I've got a land bank, and I've got enough water. Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai are water scarce. I'm not. And what gives me the edge over others is a 480-kilometer coastline. I've got 3 running ports, 1 under construction. Gopalpur, Paradip, Dhamra are 3 running ports. Chudamani and Balasore is under construction by the Tatas. So I've got national highway networks, I've got state highway networks, I have got railway networks, I have got ports. And we are already in talks with the government of India for an international airport with cargo terminal also. So that puts everything what is required to invest in Odisha. And this is not happening on the coastal track itself. We have taken Odisha as a unit. We had our own funds from the government of Odisha. I made a 4-lane road from Ralukela to Boriguma, all along the Chhattisgarh border, which is called the Biju Expressway. And if anybody would have gone through my IPR 2022, the amount of patronage we are ready to give to our investors is immense. I think no other state gives. We are giving in required zone, identified zone, capital subsidy to about 30% in the Biju Expressway, capital subsidy to the tune of 20% on the coastal highway. We are exempting electricity duty, and on the coastal side we are giving 1 rupee electricity tariff free, and on the Biju Expressway it is 1.5 paisa, 1.50 paisa for 7 years, and SGST refund which doesn't have upper limit, means whatever you invest can be redeemed over a period of time from the day of your production. Now, many states give this promise. How many have delivered? That's a key question. Why I say this, why many haven't delivered on the promises? You don't have to go by my words. Check RBI records and check the Ministry of Finance last month's report of the dead refurbishment of all the states of the country. We are the only state, ma'am, again, gentlemen, we are the only state again whose debt refurbishment has gone down. We are 1,43,000 in debt. We have come down to 1,12,000, whereas every other state has gone up. For example, Madhya Pradesh was 2,65,000, has gone up to 363. Maharashtra, which was about 320, has gone up to 448. Every other state has gone up in debt, barring Odisha, which has come down. Again, what does it indicate? It indicates my financial stability. and my sustainable to pay what I say. When I say all these things, where does my financial security come from? I'm not running to the government of India for funds. I've stopped running to them. I'm managing my show on my own. How do I do that? I do that with my own resources, and my biggest strength is my mining. The steps we have taken in harnessing our natural resources has given the government a windfall profit. That is why in the manufacturing sector also, my biggest asset is mineral and metallurgy. Their manufacture and their export and the home and the distribution done in
हमारे पास एक बुजुर्ग महिला आई थी, उसको किसी ने बताया था कि यहाँ पे तुम्हें खाना खिलाया जाएगा। वो बोली देख मैं 8 दिन से पहले तो खाना नहीं खाया। मैंने उसको अंदर ले लिया, उसको खाना खिलाया। तो मैंने पूछा भाई तुमको क्या प्रॉब्लम है, क्या है? बोली मेरे बच्चे ने मेरे को वहाँ पे लाके छोड़ा है। फिर वो अजी हमारे पास बाद में रही 3-4 साल के बाद में ऐसा होने लगे कि उनको बॉडी के ऊपर का कंट्रोल कम होते गया। जो मेरे हाथ में उनकी मौत हुई वो मैं जिंदगी भर नहीं भूल सकता। जो सड़क पे मिलते हैं अगर हम उनको नहीं लाएंगे तो बेचारे बारिश में पड़े रहेंगे, भूखे पड़े रहेंगे, बेचारे तड़प तड़प के मर जाएंगे, कुछ भी नहीं मिलेगा उनको। ऐसे आदमी जब हमारे पास आते हैं ना तो हम उसको पहले अंदर लेके मैं उनको नहला विला के नए कपड़े डाल के तो खाने का दे देते। तो वो पहले क्या करता है, जैसे हमने 2 चपाती दिया 3 चपाती दिया तो उसमें से 2 चपाती उठा के वो पूरा छुपा के रख देता है। तो हमने एक जन को पूछा भाई तकिए के नीचे क्यों रखते हैं? बोले डॉक्टर साहब आप आज खिला रहे, कल नहीं मिला तो। मैं बोला यार वो चपाती सूख जाएगी कैसे खाएगा? पानी में डुबा के गिला करके खा लेते। हमें तो भूख से मतलब है कि हमारे बच्चे और इन्हें हमें संभालना है। आज मेरा टोटल 60 लोगों का परिवार है। आज तक मुझे ऐसा कभी नहीं लगा कि ये पराये है, दूसरे है, कुछ नहीं। ये जो हमारा ओल्ड एज होम बना है 13 साल में इसकी मेंटेनेंस नहीं हो पा रहा है क्योंकि पतरा जो है वो धूप और छांव के कारण खराब होकर हर जगह लीकेज भी हो रहा है कि राशन उधार लेते हैं। लाइट का बिल भी हमारा साल भर का।
of India has set up a target of 500 million tons of hydrogen and green ammonia by 2035. Of that 250 million we have already signed MOU. So the new fuel or the new energy of the future is hydrogen and ammonia. And government of Odisha has already taken huge steps. We are on the verge of starting work on these 3 projects in Paradip, Gopalpur. So this is where the trajectory has been set. And once the naphtha cracker by IOCL comes up, which is already sanctioned, land has been allotted, work starts from Dussehra, the groundbreaking starts from October onwards. Within a span of 3 to 4 years, by the time the cracker comes up, we become a plastic hub again. With the polypropylene plant at Bhadrak, we are venturing into a place where only Gujarat and Maharashtra were there. That is technical textiles. So these are the core avenues, raw material avenues, which we are setting up as overheads, which will in a period of 10 to 12 years, will provide extreme downstreaming of industries, which in order will create jobs and will better the livelihood of my fellow statesmen. So this is the trajectory, this is the vision of our honorable leader, Shri Naveen Patnaik. And we call it inclusive industrialization because we want to take Odisha to a different league because we have set ourselves.
श्रावण अधिक मास में अक्षय पुण्य पाने का विशेष मौका। अधिक मास जिसे पुरुषोत्तम मास भी कहा जाता है, 18 जुलाई से 16 अगस्त 2023 तक रहेगा। जैसा कि पौराणिक मान्यताओं और धर्म ग्रंथों में बताया है, इस मास में किए गए शुभ कार्य 1000 गुना फलदायी होते हैं। यह अद्वितीय अवसर 3 वर्षों की प्रतीक्षा के बाद आया है। आपसे विनम्र अनुरोध है कि इस पुण्यमय अवसर पर दिव्यांगों और पीड़ितों के हित में सहयोग करें। पुरुषोत्तम मास में दान करके सुख समृद्धि और अपार पुण्य प्राप्त करें। ऑपरेशन सहयोग राशि 5,000 रुपए, भोजन सहयोग राशि 1,500 रुपए। संपर्क करें 029466222222।
You, and you all are fired. And you are promoted.
Can you explain me how did you get promoted?
It's simple. I've been using ChatGPT and other AI tools to do my work. This way, I've been able to do all of their work.
And who taught you all this?
This guy. Hi, my name is Aditya Kachre. I am a graduate of IIT Kharagpur. I have also co-founded multiple 8-figure companies like B10X, Mad About Sport, and Muni EdTech. In my 2 hours workshop, I'm going to teach you how you can leverage ChatGPT by giving killer prompts. On top of that, I'm going to teach you multiple AI tools which will make you 10x version of yourself. All these things just at ₹299. And if you register before tonight, I have also included bonuses worth 10,500 rupees. So it is a no-brainer to join this workshop. See you in workshop.
It's there in the book. It's there. If you go to Cambodia, go to Laos, you go to Thailand, you go to Indonesia, you'll see the Odia culture there. If anybody of you visited Bali, you'll reflect as if you are in any other village in say Jagat Singhpur or Kendrapada. Same culture, same way of living. Same Hinduism. Hinduism went from Odisha to Southeast Asia. And they say it. Recently, I was in Cambodia. They were very proud of being a Hindu. Though they are by religion, they are Buddhist, but the practices are all Hindu. So something was done 2,000 years back. So it is just about reviving it again. And we have done it earlier, we can do it. There's no harm in thinking that to dream big or say that I can achieve it. Yes, we can achieve it. And we are the verge of achieving it, I will say. So all we have to do is assert ourselves, see the opportunity. Why saying it, see the opportunity? Because as of today also, when I'm speaking, land is cheap compared to the other metropolis. Water is still plentifully available. Electricity is there. And a Southeast Asian market is there after China is collapsing. So put the geopolitical situation, the industrial atmosphere of the state, the mindset of the government of Odisha, and the population which is eager to harness it is a perfect match, is a perfect set point. If we can't score here, we can never score again. And I can assure you that we will score. In fact, we have started scoring while I speak. Many people have come. Many people want to come. And I can assure you, gentlemen, the future of Odisha is very, very bright. The biggest asset what you have created, thanks to the people of Odisha, basically, that we have got policy stability and government stability. Without stability, nothing moves. If you see the country's political scenario, we are the only state which has got stability. And we can still boast of stability for another 10 years. So policy is going nowhere, government is going nowhere. The younger generation all set. I've got the raw materials, I've got the wherewithal. So why shouldn't we? What stops us? We should take risks and we should go ahead. And that's a perfect destination. It's a perfect situation for everybody to come and invest. Gentlemen, I will not take much time because this is a nutshell I've told without going to nitty-gritties and details. The perspective of industrialization in Odisha, the way forward, the situation we are in today, and what we propose to do in the future. Thank you. Bande Utkal, Jai Jagannath.